Tom Petty had one of the most distinct voices in the world of rock and roll. He refused to let anyone tell him what to do or how to sing, and fans and critics appreciated him for it. His music may be unique, but the story of his death is all too familiar. An accidental overdose from powerful opioids caused his organs to fail. Keep watching to learn about the severe health problems that Tom Petty hid from his fans and how they contributed to his death. Early life. Thomas Earl Petty was born October 20th, 1950 in Gainesville, Florida. Warren Zane's book, Petty the Biography, released in 2015, reports he had a difficult childhood where he experienced frequent beatings at the hands of his father. He wasn't a successful student and never had exceptional dreams until he began to find solace in music. He later called it the only real magic he encountered in his life. Tom got his first guitar in 1962. He was inspired by the Beatles once they entered the scene, growing his hair long and switching to an electric guitar. He formed his first band, the Sundowners, in the mid-60s. They began finding gigs around Gainesville. Career. Tom's early influences included the Byrds, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, and the Beatles. He combined them all into a unique musical style that attracted curious listeners. He always preferred to have a steady band to work with. He formed Mudcrutch as a teenager, a band that featured guitarist Mike Campbell and keyboardist Benmont Tench. They gained popularity in Florida and moved to LA after signing a recording contract with Shelter Records. That lasted only a few years. After getting married to Jane Benyo in 1974, Tom formed the Heartbreakers. They featured Mike and Benmont, as well as Stan Lynch on drums and Ron Blair on bass. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were together from 1975 to 2017. They were known for their contemporary take on the music of the 60s. Tom's voice was grainy with a Florida drawl, but fans loved it. A few of the band's most famous songs included Refugee, Don't Come Around Here No More, Free Fallin', and Into the Great Wide Open. Their debut album, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, was released in 1976. It didn't become popular until the band toured England and it appeared on the British charts. The single Breakdown reached number 40 on the American charts. Damn the Torpedoes was released in 1979 and reached number 2 on the Billboard album charts, selling over 3 million copies. Hypnotic Eye was released in 2014 and was number 1 on the charts. Other albums that sold 1 million copies included Let Me Up, I've Had Enough in 1987, Into the Great Wide Open in 91, and Southern Accents in 1985. All this success led to plenty of contract disputes throughout Tom's career. He had to fight for royalty rights after signing them off to Shelter. Once the band signed with MCA, they wanted to sell the album Hard Promises for $9.98, which is over $28 in today's money. The usual price of an album was $8.98. Tom was devoted to his fans and realized many of them couldn't afford a steep price. He threatened to call Hard Promises the $8.98 album, and his consistent efforts kept the label from raising the price. The Heartbreakers worked with several other big names in the music industry, including Bob Dylan, Stevie Nicks, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, and Roy Orbison. Tom felt his best collaboration was when he and his band recorded the album Unchained with Johnny Cash in 1996. Many of the band's platinum albums were recorded at Cherokee Recording Studios. These included Damn the Torpedoes and Hard Promises. They also became popular enough to headline massive events. They were part of the Live Aid concert on July 13, 1985, and played the Super Bowl halftime show in 2008. The Heartbreakers weren't Tom Petty's only successful band. George Harrison came up with the idea for the Traveling Wilburys, and he released 2 albums with them in 1988 and 90. He also did several solo albums. Full Moon Fever was released in 1989 and sold 5 million copies. Wildflowers was released in 94 and sold millions of copies as well. This second solo effort came at a difficult time in his life. He'd recently divorced his first wife and was living alone, falling into depression and heroin addiction. Rehab helped him overcome it and find love again with Dana York, who he married in 2001. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already, and stick around for a lot more about Tom Petty. His death and last days. Tom cracked his hip during a rehearsal by the time the Heartbreakers were set to begin their 40th anniversary tour in 2017. He decided to continue instead of getting the necessary medical care. He didn't want to disappoint his fans or his band. Tom's family notes he also suffered from other health conditions in addition to his hip pain. They confirmed he had knee problems and potentially fatal emphysema from smoking. He felt terrible but needed to continue to perform. The Heartbreakers played over 53 concerts by the time the tour was over, and Tom's condition worsened after each one. He even struggled to walk at times and had to be helped onto the stage or driven from one location to another on a golf cart. His wife Dana said part of his insistence on continuing to perform was because he most likely knew it was his last tour. She and his daughter also said his hip was already broken by the time he returned home on the last night of his life. Tom took a mix of drugs to ease the pain. They included 3 kinds of fentanyl and oxycodone, a sleep aid called Restoril, and depression and anxiety meds Celexa and Xanax. He was later found unconscious in his home, but it was too late to save him. He was already in full cardiac arrest and had stopped breathing. He was taken to the UCLA Medical Center in Santa Monica, but there was nothing they could do. He was declared dead at age 66 on October 2, 2017. Could he have been saved? Tom Petty was only one of 70,000 Americans who died of a drug overdose in 2017. Over 2/3 of these were also caused by synthetic opioids. Many of rock and roll's most famous names died almost the same way Tom did. Prince complained of shooting pains in his hip and ankles, but refused to get surgery after becoming a Jehovah's Witness. He also died of a drug overdose at age 57. Fentanyl is one of the most dangerous and frequently abused drugs in the world of music. Tom was on a fentanyl patch at the time of his death, but his family believes this was the drug that caused his organs to shut down. Fentanyl is 30 to 50 times more powerful than heroin and was responsible for 1/3 of the fatal opioid overdoses in the U.S. in 2017. Tom's autopsy also found 2 even more deadly derivatives of the drug in his system. Dr. William Harris says hip surgeries used to be a dangerous procedure, with 1 in 50 elderly patients dying of pulmonary embolism. There's also frequent complications such as bone wear and infections in 10% of cases. Years later, those rates were down to 0.5%. Harris says an operation could have saved Tom, but admits that God only knows the effect it would have had. Tom's legacy and unfinished projects. Music critics recognized Tom Petty's talent. He earned the number 43 spot on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Rock and Roll. He also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1999 and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002. His 1993 Greatest Hits collection remained on the Billboard album charts for 6 years. Tom never wanted to stop working and had plenty of unfinished projects in mind before his tragic death. He hoped to continue his SiriusXM show Tom Petty's Buried Treasure. He wanted to help the Shelters produce their second album and continue to mentor them. He also wanted to expand and reissue his 1994 solo album Wildflowers and was in the process of adding songs to it before his death. The Heartbreakers continue to perform to this day, believing it would be what Tom would want. They know how much he loved his fans and said it wouldn't be fair to not produce anything for them. They've released new versions of Tom's best songs from both his solo albums and the ones he released from the band. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you been affected by Tom Petty's music? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.